Hi, I'm Ben, and welcome back to Theology Over Easy after a long break. For better or for worse, Anglican Eucharistic theology is, messy. That's because Anglicanism has always been defined by both Protestantism and Catholicism. It would be hard to overstate the controversy this tension generated during the English Reformation of the 16th century. Just recall the history of the crown following Henry VIII. The Church of England was decidedly Protestant under Edward VI. It was full-tilt Catholic under Mary, while Elizabeth is credited for trying to navigate England down the middle, though in truth, England was, more Protestant than Catholic under her reign. These tensions reached their bloody height during the English civil wars of the 17th century. You can get a sense of the tension by visiting churches sitting on either extreme. Architecture is usually a good indicator of a particular church's understanding of the Eucharist, or at least at the time it was first constructed. Many churches, especially in the U.S., have moved toward the Catholic side of the spectrum, and Christ Church went through an extreme makeover in 1928 that completely transformed the chancel and altar space. That might be a subject for another time. Anyway, you could visit, say, Church of the Advent in Boston, which is architecturally and liturgically at the Catholic extreme. Trinity Church Copley Square is architecturally Protestant, though I can't speak to their liturgical style. The best examples of the Protestant and Catholic diversity in Anglicanism that I've seen are All Souls Langham Place and All Saints Margaret Street in London. The architectural differences are striking. The interior of All Saints Margaret Street is almost Eastern Orthodox, save for the absence of an iconostasis. The high altar visually dominates everything else, and the walls and ceilings are filled with religious art depicting the saints and angels. All Souls Langham Place is literally just a few blocks down the street from All Saints, and its interior couldn't be more different. The worship space has clearly been modernized, but if you look at where the table is, and that's the Protestant name for the altar, look at where it's located. It's pushed back out of the way. The church interior is plain. The focal point is the stage itself, where the clergy preach and a praise band leads worshipers in singing to God. Other Protestant or low church parishes often make the pulpit the focal point. These places visually indicate the stunning differences between the Protestant and Catholic face of Anglicanism. But what is a Protestant versus a Catholic theology of the Eucharist? The Protestant view sees Holy Communion as providing spiritual communion between the worshiper and Jesus. The bread and wine remind the worshiper that Jesus said, "Do this in remembrance of me." Communion is an act of remembering, a memorial, if you will, that brings the worshiper into the real, albeit spiritual, presence of Jesus. But this presence is something that happens within the worshiper. It's not a description of anything that happens to the bread and wine. At the Catholic end is transubstantiation. The concept is derived from Aristotle's distinction between substance and accidents. In transubstantiation, substance means what something is in itself. A chair, for example, its shape, its size, its color, and all other aspects perceptible to the senses are not the chair itself. A chair has these accidents or appearances, but is distinct from them. Put another way, the appearances of a chair are perceptible while the substance of a chair is not. Transubstantiation describes the Catholic belief that as the priest utters the words of Jesus, "This is my body, this is my blood," the substance of the bread and wine change to the body and blood of Jesus, while the appearance or accidents remain unchanged. In practice, in the United States, most Episcopal churches, such as Christ Church, are somewhere between these two extremes. That's all for now. I'll see you next time on Theology Over Easy.